Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today I'm going to give you just a quick first impressions. I'm still getting to know this knife, so I will come back with a full review and discussion, but we are looking at the Spartan Harsey folder. And I've wanted to get my hands on one of these for such a long time. Made in the USA, small production. This is comparable to a Chris Reeve or a Hinderer, especially. I would say those are probably its closest competitors, and I will do some comparisons with those. Probably leans a little closer to the Hinderer side than the CRK side, but nonetheless, a very, very compelling knife, and one that I have wanted to get my hands on for quite a long time. Turns out there was a fellow Canadian who was looking to get rid of this one. This is the black logo special edition. On the other side, we have some writing. We'll get into all that in a second, but I just want to put out there now that this is a slightly older model. I think, it probably, before 2020, maybe 2018, 2019, something like that. The owner said he figured it was like three or 4 years old. So this is a slightly older one. It's in S35 VN steel, and I guess that does bring us to the blade. So up front we have this blade, S35 VN steel, black coated. You can see the USA. Hold on, can you see? There we go. You can see the USA and the Spartan there on this side. Over here, we have the Harsey logo. All right, very attractive drop point blade. Now, this is definitely a blade that's ground to be a little tougher, a little thicker, a little heavier duty. I will say this about it. The first day that I got this, it wasn't super sharp. The seller told me, look, I haven't used it much, but it just kind of came a little bit dull. So I have touched this up and put an edge on it. Now, I will say it didn't need much, just a few strokes on a sharp maker, and it quickly, started to pop. So it was very close to being as sharp as I like my knives to be, but just not quite there. And the original owner said sort of the same thing. So now, this is very, very sharp, but it's not a blade that's really designed to be super slicey. Okay, this is a thicker, heavier duty type blade, designed to be a little tougher, a little harder use, which you need to keep in mind if you like the look of this, but you really want, a knife that, if you do a lot of food prep with your folder, this is probably not the knife for you. All right. With that in mind, let's carry on from the blade. This is not the full review. I can go into a little more detail and about cutting and performance and stuff like that at that time. So let's move on. Moving toward the handle here, we've got titanium frame lock. It is on phosphor bronze washers. You can probably see those there. It's fairly smooth. The detent is, I'd call it a pretty stiff detent. Not uncomfortable to deploy, and it does deploy pretty quickly and pretty smoothly. So I'm pretty happy in that regard. The lock bar is reasonably easy to access, but this is not, well, I'll just demonstrate really quickly here. This is not a drop shutty knife. I'd have to really shake it down pretty hard to get it to drop closed. So, and the action is designed more to be smooth and utilitarian than it is to, be, this super ultra drop shut type of knife, which, that's just not what they were aiming for. They're aiming for a tough utilitarian folder, which I do think they've done a really good job of delivering. Now, having said that, there are some pretty impressive little, accoutrements here. The large decorative pivot is very attractive. We've got blue hardware here. The only things, of course, that aren't blue are going to be the handle insert here and the pivot screw. Otherwise, everything else is nicely blue anodized. And I will say, the original owner said this was mostly a display knife for him, and it is a very displayable knife. This is very, very attractive. All right. Now, these are not cheap. I think, again, they're probably comparable to your CRKs or your Hinderers. I think the base model of these goes for around $450 maybe. And then when you start adding different things, the black and the engraving and that kind of stuff, you're probably getting close to the 550 mark. And I think these do go all the way up. Like if you get a really fancy one, they can probably get up around 650, $700. That's US dollars. All right, so that's kind of a quick range of price. Finally, let's touch on these details a little. We've got this really cool Spartan logo here. All right. And then over on this side, we have this Greek writing. Now, I'm not sure, some of you may know that I'm a Bible student, so I can read Greek. However, this is a little bit of a different text, just to give you an idea. Um, Now, I say I can read Greek. I can sound out Greek words and look them up, okay? I'm not just fluently reading through Greek. But here's my Greek New Testament, one of my Greek New Testaments. All right. And this is the book of Galatians. All right, and I can read that and I can figure it out fine. However, looking at this writing, you'll see that it's a little tougher. If you're used to sort of typical New Testament Greek writing, maybe you've got it on your Bible software or something like that, or you're a fraternity person and you've seen some of those letters before, it can be a little tough. This is sort of it's like a fancier Greek text. And so what this says, all right, is Malone Lab, meaning come and take them. It's a classic expression of defiance. It was from the Plutarch said King Leonidas said this to Xerxes, right, during the when Xerxes told the Spartans to surrender their weapons. All right, so sort of a decorative Greek font, a kind of a statement piece here, kind of interesting. Really, it adds a level of depth to the knife, so I kind of like that. We haven't touched on the clip. The clip just is a typical bent clip. It is titanium, and in terms of just a quick rundown or just a quick impression of comfort here, this is actually a pretty good feeling knife in hand. I haven't really put it to a lot of use, but I have used it a little bit, and not nearly enough to do any kind of a review, but enough to say, yeah, so far I'm kind of enjoying this, and I'm pretty happy to be able to finally get my hands on one. My initial thought is, yeah, this is not a great slicer, but I like it a whole lot. It's comfortable, it's useful, it's great for an EDC. The one thing, and I've probably said this about a lot of the harder use knives that I have. I do kind of wish that they had gone with like a thick hollow grind, like on my CRKA Inkosi. I still feel like that's the standard bearer when it comes to making a true hard use, high reliability knife. And this is close, and it's got some other things that make it slightly more attractive perhaps, but in terms of straight utility, the Inkosi, I'm going to do a full video where I just put them side by side and compare them, and we'll talk all about that. So be looking for that. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you have a Spartan Harsey? Have you looked at one and passed on it? Are you as attracted to them as I am? I think this is an absolutely stunning knife and totally worthy of display. That's why I totally get why the original owner primarily uses it as a display piece. So anyway, there's my quick first impression. A little longer than I wanted. Normally I try to keep these under 5 minutes, but this is a pretty cool knife. So there were a number of things that I just wanted to touch on there. All right, we will talk to you later. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, bye.